Interesting. When you took over the business, was there a lot of data that you could look at, or did you have to operate everything for a certain amount of time just to establish a baseline?
Yeah, so we have a really good relationship with the previous owner of the business. I can pick up the phone and call her anytime, and that's something that I'm really happy about, right? I think that there's some risk associated with having them too close to a business person being too close after you've made the sale, especially as you're changing things. But there wasn't a ton of data. I mean, it's a traditional small business, and I think that in the context of small family run businesses, that weren't necessarily digitally native or affluent, there was a lot that we had to kind of create from a CRM standpoint, from a POS system, updating it, maximizing all of the tools that we always already had.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that just even going back to the basics in terms of, hey, this is the products that we have, this is the most popular selling. You had mentioned just a few minutes ago that you love the products. So, which ones do you produce more of? Which ones do you cut? There's a lot of stuff to digest. How long did it take you to figure all that out so that you can start moving forward?
In some ways, we're still figuring it out.
I'm
I
sure.
think
Yeah.
we had pretty clear data on sales to be able to look backwards and say, okay, so a little bit of context, right? Like we're a micro winery, we're a storefront winery, we're not on a large vineyard. Um, we specialize in fruit fusion wines that are sweet, so we get leeway to play around with wine in a way that a lot of traditional wine companies don't. So whereas a traditional winery may have five, six, or seven varietals, we have recipes to make upwards of 40 wines just when we walked in the door, right? And so with that, we've got really some cool opportunities to play with some different things. And so as we look backwards, we said, okay, like here's our 10 core wines. We're going to make sure that as we ramp up production and work through the inventory that we took on when we took over the business, that we'd make sure that we had those 10 wines, that we'd make sure that we were able to be consistent in the delivery and the quality of those. And then really this summer, kind of in the 6 to 7 month in, is when we started to branch out into some of those others that maybe are seasonal. I'll have product coming in tomorrow to make a new wine varietal that's going to be coming out around Thanksgiving this year that we haven't had in a year. So long-term customers, when that comes out, we'll be able to reactivate them to let them know that, we've brought this back.
What's just out of curiosity? What are your top three sellers?
Top three sellers for us: Bear Paw, which is a black raspberry and blueberry Merlot; Simply White, which is a white cranberry Pinot Grigio; and then right now it kind of shifts by season. So we do peach apricot Sauvignon Blanc, which is called Summer Fling, and we'll be winding that down and kind of selling out of that over the next couple weeks.
Interesting. So so you talked about other things in the retail shop, had conversations with them, stuff like that. I'm interested in like what kind of conversations you would have with them, and then also things across the street. So they're one of the most popular veterinarian places in I think the region is right there. Tim, one of my dogs has had surgery there, very expensive. Were there conversations with people like that? Because like how do you make that the parallels there so that this could be a good thing for my business or not? Like what kind of conversations are you having so that you can figure out like, okay, like I think this is this. What do I need to do to get, what kind of questions and answers do I need to get out of them to actually validate that what I think is this or something like that?
Yeah, I think I really just approach it as kind of a relationship building mindset in general, right? Like if we're going to be neighbors, I want to be neighbors and not people that are just next to each other. But in our development, we've got two restaurants. We've got a bakery that specializes in pastries. We've got a cigar store, not a shop or a place that you can smoke. We've got a couple of other businesses that are bringing in regular foot traffic, like a pharmacy, which is probably not the best fit for the winery, but tax places. And after you're filing your taxes, you might feel like you need a glass of wine. And so it's really just making sure that we can kind of refer people back and forth. You know, we've talked about
That's
doing
funny.
some events together. We've worked with the bakery to do some pairings for some of our wine tastings. We're in discussions right now with the cigar store about doing kind of an outdoor wine and cigar pairing where you can come in and get a flight and pick from a couple of different cigars that we can kind of partner on and really activate space and close some of those loops, right? Share some client bases, uncover some new clients. You know, as far as the awesome veterinary clinic there, you know, I've also had to have my dog there, and they've done some amazing work for an emergency that we had with our family. But I think in the context of just the larger neighborhood, right, we have some opportunities to market within neighborhoods. There are some, you know, very well run HOAs in York County that we're going to be able to do some advertising in some of their newsletters and things. Tim's neighborhood will probably be seeing one of those advertisements here coming in another month or two.
I'm sure if there was an advertisement on his running outfits, he would be willing to pony
right,
up his body for that.
I am the local legend throughout the neighborhood.
The running man on Running Man.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, that's really it. I mean, it's not necessarily about it's much more about just making sure we have those relationships and figuring out whether or not there's some synergies. There's not going to be a match for everybody, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean that a business that has nothing to do with ours doesn't have people there that would be interested in our product, or vice versa.
I've been directly involved within our entrepreneurial community for years. And the most common question I get is, Tim, I want to get involved, but I don't know what events I should attend. Well, StartWheel eliminates that pain point, because we consolidate all the events you should attend into a single calendar. Now you'll be in the know and see where to spend your time. Gone is the need to search multiple websites and calendars. Just head to startwheel.org and see for yourself. That's startwheel.org.